Supervisor Brotherton will lead us in the invocation, and then Supervisor Moss in the pledge.
Oh, Heavenly Father, we come before you this morning, and we ask you for clear direction in our vision for Mojave County. We ask you to give us wisdom and to guide us and to lead us into all truth and all righteousness. Oh, Lord, we want to do what is best for our people in Mojave County, this great county, and we ask you to bless us, to give us the courage to always stand for what's right, and we ask all of these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you.
I think we should just.
Right now, I need a motion to call for an executive session to be held on April 7th, 2014 at 9 a.m. for discussion and consultation with legal counsel in accordance with ARS 38-431.03.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Second, do we have any committee and/or legislative reports? Supervisor Johnson.
Madam Chair, you and myself attended the National Association of Counties meetings in Washington, D.C. On my subcommittee of EELU, Steering Committee of the Energy and Environment Land Use Committee, we had 2 days of meetings. We passed 2 resolutions through my committee, the resolutions on improving water quality planning through regional watershed protection. That passed unanimously. The resolution on ensuring energy remains affordable by using existing resources passed by a vote of 47-4. We also considered resolutions that referred to other steering committees. Those were the resolution to oppose more stringent regulations of particulate matter. That passed by a vote of 44-7. The resolution of the endangered species passed by a vote of 40-11. The resolution on federal lands management practices passed by 43-8. We had some presentations that were also brought to us during our meeting. Franz Hostrater, Deputy Associate Director of White House Council on Environmental Quality, gave the committee an update on climate and environmental related issues the administration was doing. Lisa Soren, Executive Director for the State and Local Legal Center, gave an update on upcoming environmental related Supreme Court cases that may have implications for local government. Seth Brown from the Water and Environment Federation gave the committee an update on the status of water infrastructure funding, legislation pending in Congress, administration proposals in the water realm, and other policy updates. Joseph Brown, who's the Director of Community Safety and Environment, Keystone Projects, Trans-Canada, he stepped in at the last minute because we had snow back there. He gave an overview of the Trans-Canadian projects beyond pipelines and gave a status update on the Keystone XL pipeline. And Mark Rupp, the Associate Administrator for Intergovernmental Relations, U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, gave the committee an update on EPA's regulatory agenda. He also introduced to the committee Becky Cook-Shovitz, who is EPA's NACO liaison. Michelle Wyman, Director of Intergovernmental Affairs for U.S. Department of Energy, discussed recent innovations by the Department of Energy and ways the Department of Energy and NACO could work more closely together on energy-related topics. And last, Paula Brooks, Commissioner of Franklin County, Ohio, and Christina Jacobs, a Commissioner from Broward County, Florida, gave an update on President Obama's Climate Resilience and Preparedness Task Force, of which they and some other supervisors were county-appointed members. They're also asking local governments to complete a survey or build systems and email members to contact her directly through her official task force page for additional information and questions. During the general sessions, both myself and Supervisor Angus had speeches from just about everybody on the Hill. We also took the time to go over and meet with our Senate and congressional delegation, along with others, to push the issues of Mojave County and the National Association of Counties.
Thank you, Supervisor Johnson. I have a report today as well. Put on my glasses. Like Supervisor Johnson, I attended the NACO conference. Although I'm not a member of a committee yet, I attended quite a few sessions. Most interesting to me is the Public Lands Steering Committee, and I've asked to be a voting member of that committee. I met a lot of very interesting people from many different states who have very similar problems as we do. So it's interesting to go to these workshops and these committee meetings and learn what other states are doing. More importantly, I spend a good amount of my time, as Supervisor Johnson did, meeting with people about the ending of the Willow Beach Fish Hatchery Rainbow Trout Stocking Program. In the course of making my appointments, we discovered that during the time we were in Washington, there was going to be an oversight committee hearing of the Subcommittee on Fisheries, Wildlife, Oceans, and Insular Affairs. This subcommittee is responsible for all issues pertaining to wildlife resources, fisheries, and oceanography. Just as the press serves as a watchdog over government, the oversight function in Congress is yet another check aimed at preventing fraud, wasteful spending, and abuses of law. The topic of this oversight hearing was National Fish Hatchery System, Strategic Hatchery and Workforce Planning Report. The hearing was originally put together to address that report that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife wrote about stopping the sport fishing programs in the southeast region of the United States. Like Willow Beach, U.S. Fish and Wildlife is planning on ending these decades-old programs, and as they did with us, they were doing it without following their own procedures. When we found out about this hearing, our incredible staff went into action and put together a fantastic archive of material for me and Supervisor Johnson to bring to Washington. I met with lead staffers of the Natural Resource Committee, and because we did that, and we made a lot of noise. We made a lot of noise, didn't we? We made a lot of noise about the issues of Willow Beach. These issues were addressed at that hearing, and the members of the committee did not like the answers they received from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife's representative. The Assistant Director of Fish and Aquatic Conservation admitted during this hearing that U.S. Fish and Wildlife did not do an economic impact study, did not have a public input period, and did not even let Mohave County know that they were about to end the trout stocking program. Most damaging, in my opinion, was the admission that they did not even take the economic impact of their action into consideration at all. I met with that assistant director the day before the hearing. The agency is still blaming the broken pipe and the large cost of repair as the reason the program was stopped. They say there is no money in the maintenance fund to do such a large repair. We know, and I believe we have proven, that is untrue. I was able to set up another meeting, which was held in Denver this past Thursday. Mike Hendricks, representatives from Arizona Game and Fish, and U.S. Fish and Wildlife attended this meeting. Arizona Game and Fish and Mohave County presented information and solutions to save this program. U.S. Fish and Wildlife said they would bring back our information to D.C. and that they would contact us. We are moving ahead, and this could not have happened without a lot of people helping us behind the scenes. Arizona Game and Fish, Chris Cantrell and Jim DeVos, have stepped up to the plate, have come forward with offers of assistance and ideas. Senator McCain, Senator Flake, and Congressman Gosar have been instrumental in letting this agency know what they are doing is unacceptable. They have all voiced their strong opposition to the plan to end the program. They and their staffs have been there for us unconditionally. Even Senator Harry Reid has been vocal in his opposition. The economic impact would be felt in Nevada as well. This is not a partisan issue. This is a future of the West issue. Although there are many things going on, which I will report to you in the weeks and months ahead, there's one thing for sure I can report to you this morning. The unelected bureaucrats in Washington who are making these policies now know who we are, what we want. They know we have powerful people on our side, and most importantly, they know Mohave County will not go away quietly. That's my report. And on a completely different topic, we have just today will be the last day of our 6-week wellness program. It's our second one, and I believe it has been incredibly successful. And I will let the people who have been involved in the program tell you themselves. I'm sure you know some of these people and seen some of the successes, and I'm just really thrilled that people are becoming excited about it. The next 6-week program will be in Bullhead City, and I believe it's going to be starting April 14th. So if you are down in Bullhead City and you want to be a part of this program, there'll be flyers going out, and all the information on who to contact and how to sign up will be on that. I don't want to give out any bad information, but this would be a wonderful thing for anybody who's looking to do some life changes, take their health back into their own hands, and be responsible. Okay, next up, is there anyone else who has a report?
Nothing, Madam Chairman.
Okay,
But I think you did a good job, Ewan.
thank you. We all, and again, Supervisor Johnson had started speaking behind the scenes to our congressional delegation weeks ago when this whole thing first started happening. You know, it doesn't happen, you need a lot of people involved in order to change things in Washington. It happens slowly, very slowly, but like I said, we have made enough noise that they have sat up and taken notice. And we're going to do everything in our power to see what we can do to bring this program back, either in the way it's been running or in a new way. But we're going to do something. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the staff, Mike Hendricks and Travis Lingenfelter, and all your staff has been incredible. I've just been so proud. We ran rings around them. We knew more about their program than they did. Okay, do we have a county administrator's report?
Thank you very much. No report today, Madam Chairman.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the January 21st, 2014 Board of Supervisors meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next up, we have our call to public. Those wishing to address the board at the call to public regarding matters not on the board agenda must fill out and submit to the clerk a call to the public request to speak form located in the back of the room prior to the meeting. Action taken as a result of public comments will be limited to responding to criticism, referral to staff, or placing a matter on a future agenda. Comments are restricted to items not on the regular agenda, with the exception of the consent agenda, and must relate to matters within the jurisdiction of the board. We do have one person signed up to speak today, and that would be Mark Shaver.
Good morning, Supervisors. My name is Mark Shaver. I live at 4054 West Hiller Drive, Meadview, Arizona. I'm here to support and to generate enough public interest to a new section of the county ordinance that's being developed by Development Service. That is Section 27.0.x, Cottage Industries. I've made a little information packet for all of you, and hopefully you all have it. And as you open that packet up, on the left-hand side, you will find the draft copy that was developed with public input from the good folks of Dolan Springs, 27.0x. And directly behind that, you will find 27.0 home occupation with their prohibited list. On the right-hand side, behind my contact information, you will find 3 examples of cottage industries that were developed in other states and other counties, including one that's being developed for the city of Yucaipa, which I thought was interesting, so I submit that to you too. For those of you who are not familiar with cottage industry, I encourage you to contact Development Service, Mike Hunt, or Christine Ballard for further information. This is a long time coming, and as a small business person, this is pretty much like a godsend. It'll allow me to grow from what I am classified today, to hopefully into, like a transitional part. And it's a good thing. I hope that you would create interest in your districts for it, and I hope to get some more public input. Please contact me with your suggestions, your concerns, or anything you might have. You have information. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you for all your hard work. I know this has been a big issue for you, and your work shows. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, is there anyone else who'd like, I have no one else signed up to speak. Is there anybody who'd like to come up and speak to the call to public? Seeing none, we close the call to public. Next up is the consent agenda. The consent agenda items 5 to 45 will be considered as a group and acted upon by one motion minus any items pulled for discussion. Supervisors, any items?
Madam Chair, I believe 18, 41, and 45.
And 45? Okay. Anyone else?
I don't have anything.
Okay, I have, you said 41 and 45?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have 40 also, 47, 48. So altogether, that would be 18, 40, 41, 45, 47, and 48. Motion?
I think
I think those are-
47, 48 is not on the consent agenda.
Right.
Excuse me? Oh, I'm so sorry, you are correct. So we only go up to...
I'd make a motion to approve the consent minus 18, 40, 41, 45.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, item 18 was pulled because there was some kind of typo, correct? I can't seem to find it right now. I know you gave it to me. Oh, thank you. Okay, item 18 reads, it should read, adoption of Board of Supervisor Resolution Number 2014-036, approving an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, with Pinyon Pine Fire District, Kingman, Arizona, in accordance with ARS 11-952 and 48-805, to provide 2,800-gallon closed-top water tanks for a ready-in-place supply of fire suppression to enhance the wildfire protection for the Pinyon Pine community for a not-to-exceed amount of $5,000 on behalf of the Development Services Department.
Madam Chairman, I move that we approve Board of Supervisor Resolution Number 2014-36.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Number 40, acknowledge receipt of request letter and proposal from Lauren Jeffrey Stoddard, owner of bisecting parcels to Tennessee Road, whom desires to abandon portions of said roadway, which was dedicated through recorded subdivision map of Golden Valley Ranchos Unit 7, dated September 2nd, 1959, under fee number 90528, in the Black Mountain Foothills, Golden Valley area. Approved processing said abandonment in the same manner and under the same procedure for abandoning county highways per ARS 28-6709, and authorize Public Works to serve notice and solicit public comments for the purpose of further considering said abandonment as provided in ARS Title 28, Chapter 20, Article 8, upon satisfactory completion of requirements defined under ARS 28-6701.c. And we have, there he is, we have Jeff Stoddard.
Jeff Stoddard, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm not sure I need to speak on this matter unless
You
there's...
just, first of all, can you say your name and your address, please?
Oh, yes, Jeff Stoddard, 3003 South Tennessee, Golden Valley. I'm not sure I need to speak on this matter unless there's opposition. Is that true?
Madam Chair, why was this pulled? We didn't-
It's approved?
You just wanted to...
Excuse me, but I do believe that at the last meeting, we sent this back to staff.
No, that's another matter. I'm sorry, it's a little confusing. There's two matters on the agenda with me today.
Okay, so you're not voicing any opposition to this?
No.
Okay, then you don't need...
Okay, thank you.
Okay, entertain a motion?
Motion approved.
Second? Someone second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 41, approve special event permit issuance and authorize the Public Works Director to issue said permit to the City of Bullhead City for the 2014 Bullhead City River Regatta upon the city fulfilling applicable Mojave County Parks Plan special event permit policy requirements, and further approve Mojave County Parks revenue sharing plan to provide Mojave County Parks and the City of Bullhead City approximately $95,880 and $36,000 in total revenue, respectively, during the city's whole park rental of Davis Camp from August 8th, 2014 through August 9th, 2014, preceded and followed by 2-day setup and cleanup periods. We have Dave and Jevelyn Mangus signed up today.
Hi, we're David Devlin Menges. We're the food concessionaire at Davis Camp. We actually want to withdraw it. We had discussed the issues that we were concerned about with
Okay.
Steve Latowski, and so we would like to withdraw.
Thank you very
We are in
much.
favor of it.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion?
I move that we approve item 41.
Wait a minute, did you want to say something?
I want to have some questions of our Parks Director on this. Ming still do the motion, I don't care. Mr. Latowski, this is saying that we are going to, how much is Mojave County to make off this now?
Chairperson Angus, members of the board, Supervisor Johnson, Mojave County proposes a plan for revenue sharing by which we are going to employ a very successful model that we've used at other summer holiday type events where as well as the Laughlin River Run, where we utilize a wristband type concept for participant entry into Davis Camp. So what Parks is proposing is a wristband concept complementing what Bullhead City will be using. Bullhead City will sell wristbands for regatta participants to enter the river and participate in the regatta, whereas the county parks will take responsibility for selling wristbands at $40 for access and all Davis Camp privileges for entry, as well as free camping from Wednesday leading into the regatta day on that Saturday through the entire weekend. It'll be a $40 fee. However, if participants desire to just enter on the day of event, Saturday only, and wish to park, Parks will be selling wristbands on that day. So the wristbands enable free parking on the day of event, as well as free day use and free camping through the long event weekend spanning 4 nights. So as a result, our estimated potential revenue for the county would be approximately $95,000, with Mojave County sharing $7.50 of every wristband sale on the day of event with Bullhead City. So the Bullhead City revenue share would be $36,000. Both estimates are greater for both the county and the city compared to last year's event.
I was looking at the numbers you had down here from last year's event. You're claiming that Mojave County received $23,000 off the event?
Chairperson Angus, Supervisor Johnson, Mojave County realized an actual revenue of $25,340. This was from an aggregate of revenue sharing from vacation home, RV slip sales, as well as on-site parking sales. There, last year, Bullhead City took responsibility, sole responsibility for selling parking spaces at $20 a space and providing the county with $5 for every space sold.
And what is the usual revenue from that weekend? What do we usually make on the revenue without anything else?
Well, Supervisor Johnson, with regard to past summer weekends, I don't have specific information in front of me with regard to our average take on the weekends, but I do know that the estimated $95,000 would significantly exceed what our normal take is on a weekend. We are fairly busy throughout the summer. We get a lot of especially day users and boat launches, but with regard to an actual revenue, I think what our take last year of about $25,000 pretty much mirrors what we usually see on a regular weekend, so we're hoping to improve upon that with really pulling in what is a true special event type revenue.
I guess that's my question, because what we did last year didn't make us any money as compared to anything else with all the trouble we went through. This one, you're saying that we're going to make $96,000 plus an additional $36,000 from revenue sharing, so we're up to $120-some thousand. Am I reading that right?
Supervisor Johnson, the $36,000 would be Bullhead City's allocation of the total revenue collected, with the county receiving $95,000 if everything plays out with regard to expected demand. And we're using estimates of demand that we saw last year.
So that $95,000 will include the money, the $7 or whatever share we get of ticket sales from the city of Bullhead?
Supervisor Johnson, the $95,000 estimate reflects the county's share based on its sale of wristbands, as well as our estimated renting of the vacation homes, as well as a certain amount of RV slips. That is aside from the $36,000 that we expect Bullhead City will see from the wristband sales. So the total revenue amount would be approximately $130,000 from the wristband sales and the various vacation home RV slip sales.
I guess maybe I'm confused on this. Last year, maybe the contractors changed. Last year, they rented the entire park.
That's correct.
And they gave us money. This year, from what I'm understanding from what you're saying, they're not renting the entire park.
Supervisor Johnson, the Bullhead City does propose to rent the entire park, as well as provide consultant services for security and transportation, parking, traffic circulation. But the participation with regard to revenue sharing has changed dramatically. Last year, we were engaged in basically revenue sharing on everything that was sold, lodging as well as parking. Here, Bullhead City will keep all of the revenue that they generate from their sales of wristbands for participants. Mojave County will keep all the wristband sales that parks will sell for participant entry for either parking or day use. However, on the day of event, Mojave County will be sharing $7.50 from its wristband sales for every wristband sale with the city, and that explains the $36,000 projected for the city.
So how many participants do you plan on at this $40 apiece?
We estimate selling 6,000 wristbands. The course of the event, we expect 20% of those sales to be at the $40 level before Saturday of the event. We expect the other 80% to be on the day of event this Saturday. We do foresee a lot of participants just coming to the event on the event day.
Okay, but now the ones you're selling, do they also allow use of Bullhead City's festival? Can they go and float in the tubes or whatever they do?
Supervisor Johnson, good question. This is where it dramatically departs. The city's wristband gives participants the right to enter the river and participate in the regatta, where the county's wristband gives privileges to park on site as well as have access to Davis Camp and free dry camping at Davis Camp.
I think I could clear up some of this. Last year, it was kind of a big experiment. We had new supervisors, and we were sort of open more to, we allowed Bullhead City to sort of take over the camp and do what they wanted, and that was, we didn't lose money, but we didn't make what we would ordinarily make. And so this year, we talked about it, and we said, go back, and because the county has much more experience with these large events, we sat down with Mr. Latosky's department sat down with Bullhead City and said, we have some suggestions as how we can make this event better running and more financially equitable for both of us. And they were open to that. And I think this compromise, I think last year also the city had that park for a couple of days. And this year it's only one day. And they will not be in charge of the camping or the RVs. That still will be under the county. So this year it's a much fairer contract agreement for the county, and Bullhead City is happy as well. And I think this will have a good idea this year how it's going to run in future years. And I think, judging on how much traffic went through Davis Camp last year, which I saw, I see Davis Camp from my terrace, and there are a lot of people who go through Davis Camp. And we expect the same this year. And I think it's going to be very good for, and again, people come from all over the country, mostly Southern California and the West, Southwest, and it's a great showcase for Mojave County, not only Bullhead City, for all the visitors who come. So it's a win-win, I believe, for everyone. And I think this year the agreement is very fair.
I guess, Madam Chair, the other question I would have is how much, if we're just making the supposed $95,000 off our selling of wristbands, we have no financial contract with Bullhead?
Chairperson Angus, Supervisor Johnson, there is not a specific contract per se, financial contract with the City of Bullhead. However, there will be a special event permit process which staff is requesting the board give concept approval to the event and allow staff to work with Bullhead City, and then provided that all of the requirements are met for insurance, operations, public safety, etc., staff would give authorization to issue that permit. So that's where that stands. I also would be remiss to say that Mr. Dave Heath and Ed Califamo with the City of Bullhead City are present at the meeting today, should the board have any questions concerning the actual operation of the regatta. And the Bullhead City will be renting the park for more than just Saturday, because some time is needed for event setup as well as event breakdown.
So you're giving them the park for basically the chance to sell wristbands.
Supervisor Johnson, that is basically the revenue sharing approach, where the county would sell wristbands in exchange for the city's use of the park. It really simplifies the revenue sharing mechanism, where there's no transfer of funds back and forth between the city and the county. The city is collecting their revenues through their sale of wristbands, and then there's a second wristband that county parks will be selling. So we do see this as a real advantage for us to bring an event of this magnitude and the opportunity to engage our wristband program.
I have no more questions.
Okay, and we do have someone, so thank you, Steve. We have somebody signed up to speak to this, Tad Appleby.
Good morning, Board. I'm Captain Tad Appleby with Bullhead City Police Department. Ed is with me today. If you have any questions, that's why we're here. Any clarification that we might be able to help with.
Anyone have any questions? I know Mr. Catalfamo. I've never met this gentleman, but you guys do a great job down there. And last year, I think we had some hiccups, but I think this year, this particular contract is going to solve a lot of that. And I thank you for your patience and working together to make this a great event. This event is now going to overtake, I believe, the River Run as the biggest event on the river. And so we have to be very careful on how we present ourselves, and I believe Bullhead City and the county do a very good job of that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 41, motion.
I move that we approve item 41 of the agenda.
Second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, number 42, we have same people signed up. Did you still want to speak to that? 42 is the approval of the new prisoner housing rates of $69.50 per day with a $62 booking fee as determined by the Office of Management and Budget, effective July 1st, 2014.
Madam Chair, didn't we approve that as part of the consent agenda, or was
I
that
think,
pulled?
no, we took it out. Oh, no, you're right, we didn't. We didn't. I'm so sorry, because you had put it under one. But you were in favor of it, so, okay. Thank you. I'm sorry about that.
Thank you very much, Sheehan.
Okay, so that's that. So now we're going to move on to the regular agenda, number 46. Approve continuation.
Chairman?
Did I do something wrong
We have
again?
45 was pulled.
Oh, geez. I'm so sorry. I'm
No, no, no.
all 40'd up. Okay.
If I didn't say something, you'd kick me after the meeting, so
No,
I bet it's
I
better
think
to
other
speak
people
now.
would kick me. Okay, 45, move to approve the CSA special assessment schedule and authorize payment of the invoiced $5,000 for FY 2013-14 from CSA for the purpose of recapitalizing and creating an ongoing assessment for the building, CSA Building Maintenance and Improvement Fund.
Madam Chair, I pulled this. I believe all of us were in attendance, either in person or by phone, at the County Supervisors Association meeting when they, at least in my opinion, tried to explain why they wanted more money from us. They're asking not for money to fix any problems that they have. They're just asking for money to hold it in case they ever do have a problem. I believe that we are just as good at holding our money, and if we get a bill for repairing an air conditioner or whatever our portion of something that needs to be done, I have no problem doing it. But I believe that CSA is asking for $300,000 from all the counties for a slush fund, and I don't think that's something that we should do.
At that CSA meeting that Supervisor Moss and I attended, this was discussed, and I believe that our county and a representative from Apache were the only people who voted no against this.
It was Mojave County and Apache County.
And Apache County,
Right.
and just one from Apache County. And I agree with Supervisor Johnson, it's a principle thing. They weren't saying, now, just as a little bit of history, there's a building, we belong to an association called the County Supervisors Association, South Phoenix. They do our lobbying. They're a fantastic resource for all counties in Arizona. And they have a building down there that was paid for, and what they wanted was, basically a slush fund. I don't want to say slush fund, but a fund that they can go to should repairs be needed. And as Supervisor Johnson said, our thoughts were that why should they hold on to it? If they have a leak in their roof or something goes, a pipe breaks, then they can come to us and ask us instead of them holding on to it and all of that. So I'm prepared. Are we going to?
I think the only upside on that, Madam Chairman, would be that the money would be right there and available right then if it was an emergency that needed an emergency repair, so.
Right. But how much did they say they had in their reserve funds? Do you remember?
They're down to, I don't know, tens of thousands, small 20 or 30 or 40,000, but I guess the problem comes from, we as a board, none of us sit on the executive committee to ever see what repairs are done or how much they're needed. I mean, you're just giving somebody $300,000, much like, if we give it to our departments, then they have to come back to us. They'll find ways to spend it. That was my whole thing. It just doesn't seem like
We should ask for a description of them.
And to clarify, it's not 300,000 from Mojave County. We get a percentage of that.
Right.
But it totals from all 15 counties to 300,000. I didn't like the way it was handled. I agree with Supervisor Johnson and Supervisor Angus. It seems like we're giving away our authority to an executive board who is not accountable to the Mojave County voters.
And plus, and correct me if I'm wrong, Supervisor Johnson, the way our dues are set up, we pay according to our size population. But the executive committee decided that every county should pay the same amount to this maintenance fund. So we pay the same as Maricopa, same as Greenlee, and that was sort of an issue as well.
And I believe that's because we all are equal owners in the building.
Right.
So we're all protecting our equal value in the asset itself, while the dues are based upon population because a larger county might use their services more than a smaller county would.
Right.
That's my assumption as to why there's a difference between the two.
And full disclosure, I do use that building when I'm down there on occasion. I'll be using it again in April, and it's a great asset to have. We were just questioning the manner in which this was done.
Right, and I think, and I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I'd added up, just since I've been on the board, we've given close to $700,000 to County Supervisors Association in dues.
Right, we
and
pay-
building.
we pay some big dues.
Yeah, we pay for that building, so it comes as a surprise to me that once again, as part of our dues, that isn't figured into the dues schedule. But
Okay.
that was mine. I just think we can hold the money here and say, hey, if you need it, we'll do it, but more of a principle than it is anything else.
Right. Okay.
Well, it occurs to me as a potential compromise. Has anyone spoken to CSA that the dollars are requesting of us? Because it's not just the 5,000. The 5,000 is the first year, then I think it's 15,000 for the second, then
Right.
15,000 for the third, or something along those lines. And is if we had it held in Mojave County in a segregated account and they could call on it, but at least we'd have control over it and we'd have some oversight as to what they wrote the check for.
So do you want to put that to staff to see if they'd be amenable to that?
Yeah, I'm going to move that we continue item 45 until our next board meeting, and in the meantime, direct staff to confer with CSA to determine whether the CSA special assessment schedule and payment schedule for the 5,000 and then for the next consecutive years for additional sums for purposes of recapitalizing and creating an ongoing assessment for the building CSA Building Maintenance and Improvements Fund can be held in a segregated account in Mojave County and under Mojave County control, and that CSA could make calls upon those funds to Mojave County as and when needed. Because at least we'd have control of the monies at that time.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Now we can go to the regular agenda, correct? All right. Number 46, approve continuation of staff evaluation process for land for county morgue while staff seeks clarification and additional information from the highest-ranked offerer submitting complete information for the April 7th, 2014 Board of Supervisors meeting.
I guess motion to approve, unless there's discussion.
I do have a question. This is just for purposes for gathering more information. No actual action or conclusion is being reached. And that's to clarify for the public's sake.
Madam Chairman, Supervisor Moss, that's correct.
Okay.
Okay. I second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Number 47, discussion and possible action, approve and direct Public Works to modify current maintenance and protection of traffic in accordance with adopted engineering standards for an approximate 1.88-mile unmaintained and unsurfaced section of Heights Boulevard for purpose of relocating an established point of closure from immediately east of Skyview Drive to immediately east of Rice Drive as per request of Bureau of Land Management, and to provide unrestricted access to Desert Hills Fire District Station 4 to and from State Route 95. We do have a few people signed up. Matthew Espinoza.
Good morning. My name is Matthew Espinoza. I'm the chief of Desert Hills Fire Department down in Lake Havasu. Basically, what we're talking about here is when you come in from Highway 95, you have about a mile of paved road, and then the entrance turns sharp right into the Heights subdivision. There are a couple of future projects that are out in a couple miles further east where this road will ultimately serve. Our fire station sits right on this road. The end of the road is about only a half a mile from where it's from our fire station, and I believe that's the projection here is to move the barricade that the last half mile to the fire station, and then from there it would continue to be blocked or restricted access. By removing the barricades, it will give our fire engines a straight shot out to Highway 95, which will allow us to respond faster to accidents on the highway, the interstate, pilot travel center, and all that such. Like I say, it's only about a half mile or so. So that's all I have.
I have a question for the chief.
Yes, sir.
So if I understand your comments, Chief, you view this as being to speed emergency response time, so it's a public health issue, not so much a BLM request issue?
I believe BLM is the one that requested that if we do not, because the right-of-way was granted, but by restricting the road access, my understanding is that they say, well, if you're not going to use it, you're going to lose it.
What I'm trying to say is putting the BLM issue aside, from your perspective, it's a public safety response time issue.
Absolutely. Right now, what happens is we have to come out of the fire station and do a couple turns through the Heights, through those residential streets, and then again turn right after driving half a mile, and then turn right again, and then turn a sharp left in order to get out to the road. So it would kind of take out some of that zigzag.
And
So,
one last question, is the road suitable to being traveled upon by your fire engines? I hear it's dirt, and sometimes it's not in the best shape here and there.
It is a dirt road. I know that it was supposed to be graded and all that stuff, so ultimately it can be paved and go to the residential subdivisions that are proposed out there to the east. I do think that there might be a spot or two where water tends to collect when it rains, that once or twice a year.
I have no further questions.
I have a question, Mr. Latosky, nothing for Chief Espinoza.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. This roadway went through planning and zoning, and the Board of Supervisors has approved, I guess, the projects that were going on out there. Did we ever accept this road in? Was that part of the development? Did we ever accept it into the county system?
Chairperson Angus, Supervisor Johnson, the section of Havasu Heights Boulevard east of Skyview Drive, the unmaintained section, is currently unmaintained and has not been accepted for maintenance. It still remains under improvement in accordance with the previous Ranchos Havasu development, which has currently been purchased by Caribou Industries, I understand.
So how do we, I mean, I agree that whole road should have been taken in. The agreement is between BLM and the old, whatever, Havasu Ranchos?
Supervisor Johnson, the BLM made an assignment of right-of-way to Mojave County in two sections, and this happened outside of the Ranchos Havasu development. So Mojave County does have right-of-way assignment to Heights Boulevard from Skyview Drive east, approximately 1.88 miles total. About 3 years ago, Mojave County had erected barricades east of Rice Drive. This would be east of the fire station, due to the fact that the road was under construction and remains under construction. However, at that time, we did receive a request, a service comment, if you will, from adjacent residences between Rice Drive and Skyview, complaining about dust, etc. And as a result, we moved the barricades further to the west at the point where the maintenance stopped on Havasu Heights Boulevard.
If we open this up, do you see where the county's going to have to pave this road? Because you're going to still have those dust issues, and it does open it up. Besides the fire department having a straight shot, everybody else that goes out there is going to have a straight shot. Do you see where we're going to have to pave that road?
Supervisor Johnson, the roadway does not provide any direct access to properties outside of the fire station. So those other persons that use it, OHVs, etc., those are probably the contributors to any dust issues and that. So I do not foresee from a access standpoint the need to pave the road. And the road is still under potential future development in connection with that planned residential development further to the east.
That's all the questions I have.
Any other questions?
But it will, just for the board's information, it will open that area up, and you'll have all the off-road vehicles and everything else driving out there and raising a lot of dust.
Okay.
Besides the fire truck going too fast.
I don't have
Madam
any-
Chairman?
Oh, there is. There is one other person who wants to speak before. Thomas Chamberlain?
Good morning. Thomas Chamberlain, 4253 East Wagon Wheel Drive, Havasu Heights. That road goes right along my property. I'm 2 lots down from the firehouse. Ever since the construction workers come in to start punching in that road, I've been dealing with the dust problem. I was one of the persons that asked to get permanent road closure signs with the help of Supervisor Johnson about 3 years ago, like the gentleman said. Right now, there's no problem with the access that they've got going out of the firehouse, just a couple of corners that they got to go around. They've got about 150 to 200 yards of dirt road on Rice Road, and then the rest is paved. It's perfectly fine for them to use that road. If they open up that road, it has to be paved, or it's just going to be nothing but a dust problem, because as it is, the majority of the people in the residence go through the road closure signs and go through there, and half the time they're on the shoulder, they're not in the roadway area, and that's the way it's going to be too when they end up getting it paved. That's going to be the same problem. They're going to be running on the shoulders, kicking up the stones and the dust and everything like they do in other parts of the area up there. But like I say, that the road that's there, with the agreement that I made with Captain Weber 3 years ago or so of not using that because they was going around those road closure signs because they said it was a little bit more treacherous going down through there and having to go around the signs. As he said it was, at that time, he said it was perfectly fine to be using the other direction. So that's just what I have for my comments this morning. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
None. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I've been thinking about the pros and cons of this particular issue, and it's my opinion after hearing both Mr. Chamberlain and the fire chief that I'd like to continue this for 2 weeks so I can go drive those roads myself. So I move that we continue item 47 until our next regularly scheduled meeting.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Item continued. Okay, and that brings us to item 48. Discussion and possible action to accept the offer to purchase a .58 acre abandoned portion of Tom Reed Road as per Mojave County Resolution Number 2014-007 and abutting to APN 217-04-083E for the appraised amount of $100 to be deposited in the Highway User Revenue Fund account, and accept on behalf of the abutting owner a check for the abandonment and authorize the chairman of the board to sign attached quitclaim deed which conveys the abandoned portion to APN 217-04-083E owned by Robert Jack in the Golden Valley area. This was continued by the board for possible reconsideration from our March 3rd, 2014 meeting. We have 2 people signed up to speak to this. Mr. Jeff Stoddard.
I get, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair, are we doing this correctly now, Bill?
Well, if
Mr.
it's
Ekstrom?
opposed.
I mean, we continued something that had already been approved. Do we get all the right motions down or do we need to reconsider this now before the board, before we start having people come up, so you can see if it's a reconsideration?
Yeah, Madam Chairman, Supervisor Johnson, we've taken a look at this, and while the abandonment was approved by the board, it's not really final until payment is made and a deed is transferred. So that hasn't happened yet. So what I try to do is give the board as many options as possible. In this instance, you can decide whether or not you intend to accept that amount of consideration and complete the transaction, or whether or not you intend to withdraw from the abandonment. So I think with this particular item, I think a yes or no vote would resolve it.
Okay, on 48, yes or no, takes care of it, we're
Yes,
done.
sir.
Thank you.
This is not a reconsideration, this is just a...
On the $100.
It's a different item. It's,
Okay.
their process is they abandon it, and then they go about creating the deed, and then sell it, which was what this is. So you can stop it now, or you can accept the deed and go forward.
Okay, well, let's hear from Mr. Stoddard.
Okay, I'm just going to reiterate what the original hearing was. That we own impacted property adjacent to the portion of Tom Reed Road that will be abandoned. We physically use the Tom Reed Road access to our property by ATV and foot. Physical access to our property is completely severed by the proposed abandonment. The abandonment will negatively impact the enjoyment and value of our property and render it nearly inaccessible for all practical purposes. Now, I respectfully ask you to look at the Mojave County Assessor's map, Book 217, Map 4, which shows the area in question. Now, I believe there was a hearing this last week to determine, they're saying that I should be able to develop Wallapai Road to get to the property. But as it shows on the map, it shows the mountain coming down. It's pretty impossible to put a road through there. On the county's own map, it says, and that's where I have circled in yellow from the other legend, it says toe of mountainous area, construction limit of rectangular road system. That's why there's not a road there, and that's why it wouldn't be feasible for me to develop a road through there. The cost would be 10 times the value of the property if it was even feasible. That's just a mountain right there, and it goes straight up. Where we do have access, going down Gatto Road to Tom Reed, it's through a natural pass. The road is graded. It already exists. So I don't see how I could be expected to make a road which would be difficult and completely exorbitant. That's my basic argument there. And if the road is closed right there, Tom Reed and Gatto, we have no access to those two lots with the X. We have zero access to them without the road. So you folks take a look at the map and tell me what you think. And there's a picture there. They said they sent someone out last week. Is that true, Mr. Ekstrom? To take pictures and assess the feasibility of putting a road through? And I also have it marked on the picture I have. That shows right where the junction of Tom Reed and Wallapai would be, which is at the top of the spine of a mountain with a straight drop-off back below. I doubt that anyone hiked up there and found that marker, but it is up there and it does exist.
I guess, Madam Chair, my questions are, you own the two lots that have the X's on them?
Yes, sir.
That's the only question I had.
Okay, Steve Latowski, can you explain why this needs to be abandoned?
Chairperson Angus, members of the board, the petition to abandonment is a public petition, and staff considers it to run through 3 phases. The first phase with regard to this action took place in December, where the board acknowledged the petition and referred staff to carry out the abandonment in accordance with State Statute 286701C, the county highway abandonment process. And Public Works did provide a letter notice to the abutting landowners only, as per statute. Then in January, staff reported back that there was no particular public opposal to the action, and the board did approve Board of Supervisors Resolution 2014-007, abandoning Tom Reed Road. And also directing staff to process the abandonment and effect the right-of-way purchase per state statute. And this is what brings us to the action of March 3rd and, of course, the March 17th action. So staff's perspective in reviewing any abandonment proposals is just to review whether legal access to all properties is still intact, and that is still the case in this instance. I personally did travel to the area, took some photos, and while I did not look at it from the perspective of roadway development, I can share what I did find. This first photo is at the intersection of Gatto and Tom Reed, at the south end of the abandonment looking north. So this is looking north through the area that is the abandonment proposal of Tom Reed Road. I did not walk or hike or travel any further than the actual point of this photo being taken. I will acknowledge that Gatto is a 2-track roadway that is developed to a point where you could feasibly drive to this location.
Which one is this? That's Gatto, or is that Reed, Tom Reed?
This photo is taken from the intersection at Gatto and Tom Reed Road, looking north through the segment that's proposed to be abandoned.
All right.
And then the only other photo I can share, this is from the intersection of Wallapai Drive and Mockingbird Road. This is looking to the west along Wallapai Drive, and it also presents challenging terrain with regard to accessing Mr. Stoddard's property further west on Wallapai Drive. But because legal access is still preserved in this instance through Wallapai Drive, that's as far as staff looks at petitions to abandon, because it is a public petition process.
Madam Chair? The question I would ask, this road that obviously doesn't exist on your picture, that was taken in as part of the subdivision and dedicated to the county at some point, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Tom Reed Road was part of ours.
Supervisor Johnson, as part of the plat that was developed for these area parcels, there was right-of-way dedicated to the county for both Wallapai Drive and Tom Reed Road.
I guess my question would be, if we're getting rid of that one piece, why aren't we getting rid of that whole section? And wouldn't that make more sense if you're going to get rid of part of it, to just dump the whole thing instead of having everybody have to come back to us?
Supervisor Johnson, in this instance, we just follow the public petition process, and the petitioner, Robert Jack, desired to just focus on the one segment that was adjacent to his property. But yes, you are correct. There is another portion of Tom Reed that extends on up to Wallapai Drive that isn't considered as part of this process.
Thank you.
I have a question, Madam Chair. I'm looking at this map, and I assume, as Supervisor Johnson stated earlier, and I believe the landowner mentioned, the X's, which on my map are also pink, colored in pink. Looks like there's a road called Tennessee Road. Is that developed and transversable? I mean, can you use that to travel to your property?
There's a spine of a...
This is Tennessee.
We do have the two lots in the front of those X's also, but the spine of the mountain runs right down the middle of them. In other words, if you look at from Tennessee, you cannot see Tom Reed. It's a steep mountain that goes up and over. There is no access to the back two lots, even hardly to walk except for Tom Reed.
Okay.
Tennessee is not a road either. That's what I just petitioned to abandon this morning.
Okay, so Tennessee is much like some of these other supposed on-paper roads we're looking
No,
for.
Tennessee goes partially. It goes up to my property, but not all the way through it to Wallapai. It's too rugged right there.
Okay, so Tennessee will go past, or runs parallel to Tom Reed,
Yes, it does.
and it comes, but it does not quite get to Wallapai Road.
No, it does not.
Okay.
Okay, there's one, thank you very much.
Okay, my argument would just be that those 15 acres we have that we've been paying taxes on for 10 years and that we bought are pretty much rendered totally useless and unsaleable to us if this road is closed. Okay, so, any other questions, or?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Gentleman signed up today. Chris, I will not even try to say your last name.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Chris Singlewitz. I live at 3003 South Tennessee Road, and for the last almost 10 years, we've been using Tom Reed Road to get up to the back of the property. As you can see, I'm disabled. There's no way, sorry, that I could possibly climb up that mountain. There's just no way. But I can access it the other way. And I just would like you guys to consider that it just completely takes me away from the back of my property. That's it.
Can I ask I'm sorry, ma'am.
Sorry.
The Tennessee Road, does that allow you access to your property?
Tennessee Road ends right at the property. But
Okay.
no, we can't go up on Tennessee and up over it, no.
Well, no, but can you access your lot, and from your lot, can you access the back of your property?
No, not from Tennessee, no.
Okay, so you can only access the front portion of your property from Tennessee?
Only the front portion. The back portion, we would have to climb over that mountain, and I cannot climb over the mountain.
And ma'am, I haven't seen this site, so I'm trying to understand it based
Okay.
upon what everyone's been saying. Is that because the north and south sides of your property also has some sort of mountain there?
Extreme, yes. And not only is it mountain, but at the top of it, it's rock.
Okay.
Where it's,
So from Tom Reed, you can access the top half of your property.
Right.
And from Tennessee, you can access the south half of your property, but you can't go from one to the other because of what's lying in between.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
And the two properties in back, we could never sell or anything else,
If no one can get to
or
them.
develop, or even get materials to build a cabin there or anything, if that's closed off. And I did buy those couple with the idea that eventually, when we need the money, we could sell them if we needed to. I don't think anybody really has the right to render your property completely invaluable and
And
to
useless.
completely limit any possibility we have of selling it or utilizing it.
I have a question. What did you say you filed for abandonment on this morning?
Tennessee, where it ends before Wallapai,
It's
Is that going to make the situation better for you?
No, ma'am.
No.
The only reason I did that is because the person who's opposing me on this matter has been making noises like he's going to run a bulldozer through there because he knows it's right in front of my property. The only reason for that would be to retaliate against me for taking the action to try to keep Tom Reed from being closed. I did that to just protect the integrity of the front of our property. We can't lose that also.
Gosh, I hate for us to get involved in these property disputes.
We
we're
wouldn't even
involved.
be here if we
Believe
couldn't
me,
get
if
to the
there's
back.
any way we could get to the back of our property, we don't enjoy this process whatsoever. We do appreciate it.
If we had thousands of dollars, we'd make a road over on Wallapai and be able to just leave it like that, you know?
I'd like to
that-
continue to point out that on the county's own map, they're basically saying that they could not develop Wallapai or put a road through there on that mountain because it shows the spur of the mountain coming down there. If they could have put Wallapai through, they would have. And it's the county's own map that shows where I've circled in yellow that it's not feasible to put a road through there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I speak to Mr. Latosky?
Sure.
Mr. Latosky, you mentioned in your initial comments about legal access. Am I interpreting your statements correctly that legal access means the lines on the map showing the theoretical existence of a road?
Chairperson Angus, Supervisor Moss, correct. That just refers to public rights-of-way to the properties in question.
So let me ask you a more different, an answer different. Let's talk about practical access. Is there practical access to these top two lots that abut Tom Reed if the abandonment goes through?
Supervisor Moss, just referring to the map, with regard to practical access to the west end of Mr. Stoddard's property, which is the APN ending in 081E, there would have to be some road that would have to be laid out either through Tom Reed or Wallapai Drive to provide access to the west end of the property. I can show you what Tennessee Road looks like. This is a photo of Tennessee Road, not quite to Mr. Stoddard's property to the north where it intersects Wallapai Drive, but this was taken on Tennessee Road between Gato and Wallapai Drive. So as Mr. Stoddard pointed out, it's much more easier to access the east side of his lot. However, there would be some substantial work that would have to be done to access the west end of his lot, either through laying out a road across his property along Wallapai Drive or Tom Reed. But I did not witness any roadway that's currently laid out on Tom Reed or Wallapai Drive to gain access to that west end of his lot.
Your previous map showed the 081E and 08EF, I believe, which is the gentleman's property.
Correct.
Now, in the document I've been provided, there's a line intersecting those two, so there's actually 4 lots. Is that correct or incorrect?
Supervisor Moss,
I see parcel 1C, parcel 1B, parcel 1A, and parcel, I can't see another number. Yeah, because I see the map you're showing me, Mr. Latosky, shows only 2 lots, but it's actually 4.
Yes. What I'm saying is the 2 back lots would be completely orphaned. There's no access from Tennessee to the lots in back. It's all Tom Reed. And Tom Reed is undeveloped, but it is developed potential, and we can walk there. It's much easier grade in the back.
Mr. Latosky, I have a question when you're through, Steve.
No, I just wanted to clarify if it's correct. Is it 4 lots, Steve, or is it only 2 lots? Because I see 2 different maps, and they both look like county maps.
4 lots, but
Supervisor Moss, the GIS shows a continuous lot from Tennessee Road to Tom Reed, and that is what I've been referencing.
Yeah,
It's not, I'm sorry.
okay.
You have it divided.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'm looking at the document provided by the gentleman, which says Golden Valley Ranchos, Unit 7, Book 17, Map 4, which also looks like a recorded county map. I can show you what I have here, if you want to take a look at it. I'm just concerned about us landlocking a lot.
Why did we shut down Tennessee? What are these guys giving us? I mean, right-of-ways, they got right-of-ways for a reason on these roads. We're not supposed to be giving up the right-of-ways, but we do it all the time, you know? I'll get on.
You want?
Did Supervisor Brotherton have a question?
Yeah, I'm done. Thank you.
I just, before.
No, I'm not done yet. I haven't started.
I have
Mr. Latosky, what does this, if this is not abandoned, and if anyone uses it, walking, crawling, whatever, and doesn't it open up some sort of liability for the county?
Chairperson Angus, Supervisor Brotherton, this is a public right-of-way which the county holds fee title to. We have not accepted it for maintenance, and as I pointed out earlier, the section of Tom Reed is undeveloped, but you know, with regard to any potential liability, Mojave County has not accepted this property for maintenance as a roadway. So I would surmise that the liability would be somewhat limited to the county.
So are we in a position right now to either accept maintenance for the roadway or abandon?
Supervisor Brotherton, no, I don't foresee any acceptance of the right-of-way for roadway maintenance being contemplated here. The county would require that the right-of-way be developed to a roadway of county standards. So the abandonment merely considers just abandoning the county's fee title to the property. You know, and then that would do away with any future development of that Tom Reed corridor, unless a future party were to secure new right-of-way for Tom Reed.
I see.
What's the point? I mean, from the county's view, what's the upside? What's the point?
Madam Chairman,
Yeah.
may I try to address that? Statute allows, that Steve's refers to, allows people to petition the county to abandon roadways. And generally, when we look at that, we are not able to abandon a roadway if there's not public access to property. And, I'm sorry, legal access to property, and that's different than physical access. So when the county took the petition, you know, staff doesn't have the authority to make that decision on their own, so it needed to be brought in front of the board so that only the board could abandon the property or the roadway. I don't believe there's an advantage to the county one way or the other to abandon or not abandon a roadway unless there's a public purpose involved. And a public purpose may be, like the Stoddards have asserted, that they need that roadway to physically access one of their properties, regardless of legal access. Another public purpose may be that that hasn't been addressed today, that if they wanted to further develop any of their other lots, split them or divide them, that they may need this legal access to be able to do that, because they wouldn't be able to do it. It might be, this abandonment might be an unintended consequence and a prohibitive action to any action that they may have in the future. When we first contemplated this, I believe Steve said he notified people along the roadway of the abandonment, and at that time there wasn't any outcry. So staff looked at it and the board looked at this abandonment as if there was no objection to it. And later the Stoddards came forward and voiced an objection. And like Bill said, Mr. Ekstrom said, he's, you know, one of the conditions of the abandonment was that a price be paid for the abandonment, and that condition hadn't been met as of today. That's one of the actions that you were approved. So the abandonment stands unfinished. The board can take into consideration at this time, I believe, whether there is a justifiable public purpose in not abandoning it, and then make your decision accordingly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have some questions too. We require all these people when they come to us to put in roads for developments. And then all of a sudden, people come back, and today we've got 2 roads that Public Works has brought to us to recommend for us to get rid of the right-of-ways. It basically makes those 2 roads no good. I guess I'm having a problem with, if we're going to require people to say we need these roads when they plan a development, and then come back and abandon them, it just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you got 2 owners here who are at odds over theirs, and it's not up to us to make sure that this gentleman has access to his divisions that he does, because he's supposed to require access to those when he does them. But I have a problem with closing down roadways, with the one we did before. I guess those are the questions I have for the board. I mean, if we don't need the road to begin with, let's not have the road. But
Any other questions? Okay. Will someone make a motion?
I'll make a motion, but first, can I ask Mr. Exner a question? We've approved this at the last meeting, but we haven't finalized it. Is there any particular language, because the motion I'm going to make is that we do not accept the abandonment. I'm going to, so you tell me if I do this correctly, Bill, or not. I move that we decline the offer to purchase a 0.5 acre abandoned portion of the Tom Reed Road as per Mojave County Resolution number 2014-007 and the abutting APN 217-04-083E for the appraised amount of $100 to be deposited in the Highway User Revenue Fund account and decline to accept on behalf of the abutting owner a check for the abandonment and decline to authorize the chairman of the board to sign the attached quitclaim deed which conveys the abandoned portion to APN 217-04-83E, owned by Robert Jack in the Golden Valley area, which is a reversal and reconsideration of our March 3rd, 2014 action.
Madam Chairman, Supervisor Moss, I think all except perhaps the very last sentence.
Okay, then I hereby amend it to delete my last sentence, or last phrase.
And that's fine.
Okay, I need a second for that. I will second that. And did you sign up? No. Okay, come on down. My name is Robert Jack. Okay, can you please say your name and your address, please?
Robert Jack, 3387 South Vivian Road, Golden Valley. I think we could probably simplify things if we got the Public Roads Maintenance Department to go out, take a look at this portion of Tom Reed Road and just come before you guys and say if it's a viable piece to make a road on. The road is only 40 feet wide. It's solid rock at the top of the hill at like a 4-to-1 grade. So it's impossible to make a road. And to say that, it's access to this property is crazy. Mr. Pike, who is north of me, has already agreed to the abandonment because it's never going to be a road. You couldn't afford to build a road. So could you have somebody from the maintenance department go out and look at it? Randy Allison from Public Works went out and put the signs up for the abandonment. And he says there's no way that it's ever going to be a road. And so just have somebody look at it.
Okay, what do you think?
Was the motion seconded, Madam Chairman?
Yes, I have seconded.
Yeah, because I'm going to make the comment. This is my worldview here. I see a lot of lines on these maps which may or may not be, which are theoretically legal roads, but in practicality, whether they're usable roads or not, who has a clue? I also see 2 landowners who are at odds with one another, and I view it in the best interest of the county to maintain status quo. I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to give one an advantage over the other. I just don't believe it's in the public interest to say we're going to allegedly cut off a portion of Tom Reed while the county will remain owning another portion of Tom Reed, which we won't be able to access if we abandon it. So practically access as opposed to legally access. So.
I guess I would agree with Supervisor Moss, except for the fact that we just abandoned Tennessee for the other gentleman earlier today.
Well, he's applied, we haven't done it.
Yeah.
So I think I'm probably going to give him my same answer if it comes to us.
And the
I guess we
terrain
have
is
two people-
worse.
And we have two.
Excuse me, sir.
We have two people that are making statements, this gentleman saying that this road will never be built and you can't access it, and the other gentleman saying that's the only way to get to his property. Obviously, one of them's lying.
So can we have somebody go out and take a look?
I thought that's what Mr. Latowski did, but I guess
Right.
not.
I mean, right, exactly. That is what our Public Works Department has done.
Chairperson Angus, perhaps with the applicant here, if we look at the photo again of Tom Reed Road, this is on the south end of the proposed abandonment looking north. Is this representative of the abandonment, the road?
Yes, except there's a wash on the other side of the sign, the abandonment sign. There's a wash that you have to cross, and then it's basically a 45-degree incline.
But to the best of your knowledge, sir, this is the southerly end of the...
Yes, that's...
Okay. So,
Tom Reed and West Scottville.
for the board's information, I have looked at the right-of-way to be abandoned.
Okay, we're not going to get into this here, okay? We have a motion,
Yes.
and we have a second. To decline it and keep everything as status quo.
Correct.
Okay. All in favor of that?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried unanimously, and we have one more item.
Unanimous.
What?
Did you vote no?
Yes, I voted no.
Oh, I thought you said aye.
No.
I'm sorry.
You did.
You did say aye, though. Okay. Here we go. We have the last item of the day, and I didn't even mention that Supervisor Watson is not with us today. He is in another meeting. 49, discussion and possible action, accept and authorize the chairman to sign a letter to Governor Brewer in support of the full restoration of the Highway Users Revenue Fund.
I move that we approve item 49. And I apologize, I forgot to speak English for a second.
I second the motion.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's it. Our meeting's adjourned.
I thought we did too.